you. Oh, it's that time of the year again, which can only mean one thing. It's the beard, and you're Nic Kodak, and it's time for the Undercard Wrestling Podcast, Undies Awards.
Undies Awards, there you go.
Yeah, as always, thanks to Nic Kodak for extending the wrestling I don't know, ring rope, olive branch, tag rope.
Tag rope.
Thanks for holding the tag rope and reaching out to do these. It's always a good time.
Yeah, this is always fun. We don't get to hang out as much, with everybody's busy schedules and all the stuff that we have going on. And, there's still that global pandemic pesky thing that's hanging around and keeping people from getting together in groups. So, at least once a year, I haven't been invited back to the mud pit in a while. So I figured we'd do this one. Maybe a good substitute for now.
Yeah. Makes you feel better. I've only been in the mud pit a handful of times all year, so
makes sense.
Yeah.
But hey, it's the end of the year, so everybody's giving away awards, and why shouldn't we?
Yeah. Why shouldn't we?
Why not?
Yeah, dude. I'll let you. I don't know. Steer the ship. I almost said drive the ship, and I hate when people say that.
I'm gonna drive the ship.
All right.
I'm gonna steer this car right into oblivion.
Nice.
I bring up my award categories. There they are. Oh, we got a few of them this year. So did you get a chance to go through them and make your selections or your
I did.
nominees?
Yeah, I did. I had there's a lot of categories, my friend. This was a robust year.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I think it was the same as last year. So I mean, it's always a robust year.
I think we skipped a bunch of categories last year just because of time constraints, because there were more of us on the chat and we all had very very robust opinions. So
yeah.
But there's a lot of categories. Let's see here. I was going to count.
You tell me where you want to start, and I'll tell you my very unexpert opinion.
All of these are very unexpert opinions from both of us. That's what makes it so much fun. Let's see here. Let's get the one negative one out of the way, because I try to avoid negativity. What do you always say? Don't yuck anybody's yum. Is that your?
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's a flavor for everybody out there. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it ain't somebody's flavor.
That's right. Unless
that
it's
said, if you're going to be a shitty flavor, you serve shitty things.
Yeah, pistachio. Take that.
Oh, all right. Not like that. I meant literal, like poop flavored.
Okay. I mean, I guess. Okay, let's do the dumbest thing about wrestling in 2021. Let's get that one out of the way, and then we can ride the boat of positivity from here on out.
I don't think that there's a better nomination than what you put there. The fact that WWE continues to see record profits and has cut almost 100 people at this point. I mean,
yeah. In the last year and a half, it was over 100. I think it was 80 plus in 2021 alone, but. Yeah, I mean, I think there was one other nominee that I'd started writing out, and I got to that one. I'm like, I don't really think I need another nominee, because I don't think there's really another one that comes close to it. So, dumbest thing about wrestling in 2021: 80 plus releases in WWE while recording record profits. There,
I just can't. Yeah, that's my negativity of the year. I can't get over how little I care about the WWE product at this point as a result of.
I was going to ask you about that, because Tim and I have talked about this. We've had a couple of shows together over the last month or two, where we've talked. Again, the show, we try to keep it as positive as possible. But we've been asked by people on social media, you don't do a lot of WWE critiques, or you don't do a lot of reviews. I'm like, well, it's because I fall asleep during 3 hours of Raw, and you
Yeah.
see clips of like the Thanksgiving Day show, or they're throwing pies at each other, and it's the same thing that we've seen since 2006, and with the releases and everything going on, it's just, it doesn't hold my attention. I don't feel like giving it my time, my effort. There's so much wrestling out there, and you and I have covered this on different shows in the last couple of years. There's so much wrestling out there. It's hard to watch everything. So why watch stuff that you don't enjoy, stuff that doesn't hold your interest? And
again, if people like WWE, fine, great, whatever. It's not for me anymore.
Nope, it's not for me anymore. And the only other nominee that I had on here that I had started with was when they rebranded Karrion Kross with the helmet and the suspenders and that kind of goes into what I was talking about. Like, you took a guy who was on the indies, one of the most feared wrestlers, and great gimmick and a great personality, and he was great in NXT, and he was really well thought of, and then you turned him into a comic book character that nobody can relate to or get behind. You just made him a joke. So that kind of the epitome of everything we're talking about, along with the releases. So there we go.
Yeah.
However, I will say this. That being said, there's some WWE nominees in here, and there may even be a WWE winner or two. So it's not all
surprised. No, I mean there's moments. It's just like, by and large, I can watch about an hour of WWE.
Yeah,
and that's enough.
Have you watched NXT at all since they rebranded to 2.0?
No,
I haven't.
I just don't. It doesn't. I don't want to see a bunch of nobodies again. No offense, like, it's the reason why I didn't watch, some of the early developmental stuff, or,
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was just curious because I know Tim and I have not. It's just one of those things where, it's a Tuesday night at 6:00 here. We're an hour away from it. And I'm like, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
So, all right. I'm just curious. All right. Well, let's see here. I'm going to let you pick the next one.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a couple that are negative that I just don't feel like we even need to mention,
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, that's where like the lower level on this list usually is. We can skip those. I think it's pretty obvious for those anyway, so we'll leave those alone.
I mean, I would love to have a conversation about who you felt the best brawler was this year.
Ooh, all right, that's always one that you guys always perk up a little bit when we get there.
Yeah, I'm a big like strong style fan, but I'm also just like a big like brawler person. I mean, I think that it wasn't so much for me that Stone Cold Steve Austin was like giving it to the boss, so much as he was just like whooping ass, So I know you put, Miro and Kingston from AEW on there. I mean, I think that you can make a case for a lot of Japanese wrestlers in that space as well.
Yeah, give me a couple of your other nominees, because I'm trying to go back and look at some of the last couple of years. I know Ishii was on there. Minoru Suzuki's always on there.
Yeah.
Ciampa we've had on there a few times over the past couple of years. And I mean, I don't think they could all they're all capable of being on this list and winning it for me.
Yeah.
But who's your nominees and who are your winner?
I mean, I find it really hard now that he has the national spotlight to not just go along with Eddie Kingston, because Eddie Kingston is someone that for me, and I would say I probably speak for King too, has consistently been one of our favorite people on the indies, from his promos to just his work, just really amazing. I'm kind of upset we never ended up getting to have a program with Eddie Kingston and Brody Lee, with his passing, around this time last year. But I just I haven't been watching as much New Japan this year, just because I haven't been watching as much wrestling this year in general. But man, I will tune in for Eddie Kingston. If he's fighting somebody that I know that can either go like blow for blow or can just like wrestle, like basically a great clash of styles, I'll take Eddie Kingston match over almost anybody in 2021 in the United States.
Eddie really he really shined this year. I mean, I know people who watched PWG or watched Indies, they knew of Eddie Kingston long before AEW ever came around. I'd heard the name before AEW ever came around, but boy, talk about just taking advantage of a national spotlight.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anybody on that AEW roster not named John Silver that is taking the reins of that national spotlight and just making the most of it in every way, shape, or form? I mean, the talent's undeniable. The work on the microphone is undeniable.
Yeah.
I almost actually put Daniel Bryan on this list too after his last, group of matches with the Dark Order and with Kenny Omega, with Hangman Page.
It's been so much fun having him as a heel again.
And it was I want to get to that too. We will get to this, but what a natural turn for him too.
Mm-hmm.
He just came out and mentioned WrestleMania and got booed to hell. And it just goes to show you how good of a babyface Hangman Adam Page is, that it doesn't matter who was going to go out there and stand nose to nose with him. They were going to boo the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
But back to Kingston, it was really between him and Miro for me. And Miro was just on such a run as just this guy.
I love Miro.
Obliterate everybody and anybody. But man, there's nobody that took the spotlight and made it the most of it like Eddie. And the match at Full Gear with Punk was just so much fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows how much I like CM Punk and how glad I am to have him back. And in the Target Center, man, it was like 51% Eddie Kingston, 49% CM Punk in the crowd. And it was hard not to get on the Eddie Kingston side. He's just so likable, and I enjoyed that. So yeah, Eddie wins Best Brawler for me. I mean, you have to add Suzuki in that conversation. I think, he made the best of his opportunities in the US again, on national TV and AEW and across the country and all these other opportunities that he took. I know GCW, I mean, Time Bomb Pro, going up to Fargo and making a name up there.
I mean, and that's the thing that's amazing is like, you'd say, I mean, I would say that Suzuki is also a brawler, but he's such an amazing wrestler that, it's tough to not kind of like put him in that category as well.
There were guys who were, like, him and Bryan were hard. Like, was he a brawler? Is he a technician?
Yeah.
Like, where do you put him? You can slot him wherever you want. You can make a case for him.
Yeah,
either of those two categories, pretty easy. But yeah, Eddie's a great example of just taking everything you're given and making chicken salad out of it. Making the best possible taking the best opportunities. So, congratulations, Eddie Kingston. You are the 2021 Undies Award winner. I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Go wear that proud.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, like kind of piggybacking off that conversation, that the other two that I was really interested in, or I guess three, when we're looking at them, is this kind of triangulation of breakout star, rookie of the year, and most improved wrestler. Because I would say that that you could say that there's two people that I think you could give 2 out of those 3 awards to really easily, or one that you could give all 3 of those awards to really easily. And that would be Miro for most improved wrestler. Not that he was a bad wrestler, but man, when he got into AEW and when he became God's chosen champion, fuck off with the rest, man. He was, right. I mean, has he ever had such an amazing year? I mean, like Rusev Day, like you could argue yes, but man, he got the carpet pulled out from under him, Right. But he's
sorry.
No. He's had such a year. It's been so nice to see that, because I think it's what we always wanted Rusev to, like, it's the same thing we always wanted for Rusev. Same thing we wanted for Brody, whether he was in AEW or whether he was in or WWE, when they, kind of gave him the Triple H, Jericho treatment with, you won the title. Oh, just kidding. You didn't win the title.
Right.
For the IC belt. And then, also I think for people like Cesaro, Big E finally got it this year, and I think he's deserved it forever. But yeah, I mean,
if we're talking about most improved, we'll start there.
Okay.
And my nominees were Ty Conti, Bianca Belair, Miro, Biggie, and Dante Martin. And what a group of wrestlers that is. Like, I think this was one of the better years for just breakout improvement.
Yeah.
And, I know I come off as an AEW fanboy pretty hardcore, and, I don't care. But when you see some of these people transition out of WWE or out of other companies, and they just are able to become themselves and the best version of themselves, we see that. And Miro, I think, like you were saying, is one of the best examples of that. Rusev Day was incredibly over, got that pulled out from under him. He came in with the best man gimmick, and that wasn't the greatest.
No,
I don't think
it was bad.
I think we all can look at that and go, that was not the best use of Miro. But when he became the Redeemer, God's chosen champion, oh man, did he just take off. And the fact that, again, he's a monster, but he's a monster with a kink in his armor, right? Like he's a monster with one flaw. Yeah. And that one flaw is exploitable. And it makes him such a richer, more diverse character to watch and more interested because, Fuego del Sol's got a chance here. DDT, and then, oh no, Fuego's in 3 pieces on the floor.
Yeah.
It makes Miro just so much more interesting than just a monster that causes chaos and can't be beat. And I mean, he's just become the absolute one of the biggest stars the company's got in a company that has a lot of stars. Ty Conti in a women's division that was lacking substance for a long time. I think Ty Conti really used that opportunity to make a big name for herself, and the improvement is undeniable. Bianca in a company where the division is one of the best in the world, to be able to be a standout in that division is a big testament. And of course, we all wanted to see Biggie at the top of the mountain. Yeah. And without having to change his character either. Yeah. Without having to be all of a sudden, I'm serious Biggie now. Yeah. He can stay exactly who he is and exactly who he was, and yet still be at the top of the mountain is incredible for him. But yeah, to me, it's most improved. It's Miro, hands down, in my mind. That's my winner. I'm highlighting it green because it's my winner.
To me, I think that the thing that's most hard about this is I think it's down to Tay Conti and Dante Martin for me, because I feel like Bianca was slaying it last year and just needed the opportunity, and I do think she stood out, but I don't know that she necessarily like improved. I think just like her opportunity like that she took like cemented her. And I would say the same thing for Miro and Biggie, right? They finally were given, all 3 of them were finally given the ball, and they just they're draining it from the key and doing behind the back dunks on people that are supposed to be like MVP defenders. I mean, I think that's the closest thing I can come to it. But for me, like Conti and Dante both made huge strides. I think that we kind of saw things with Tay Conti in WWE before she came over, when she was featured, but she never really kind of got the opportunity. And I think that that's been the most exciting thing about AEW. Like, I don't know that I consider myself a total AEW mark or whatever we want to call it, but the fact that people get opportunities is, to me, what always made Ring of Honor so special, is that you'd see people on Ring of Honor that you wouldn't, like they wouldn't be on there forever, but they'd be there. If they're in the region, they'll be on for a couple shows, or they'll be on for a big show, or or be featured for a little while. And I think that to me is, with Ty Conti coming over, she got that opportunity. For me, I'm proud to homer for Dante. That dude is one of the nicest people, and just like genuinely lovely. Had a chance to see him at the Beers, the Bauhaus show.
Oh, sure.
Him and Wolf, and man, what a treat. Those guys are just always just like salt of the earth, kind, take the time to say hi. But man, he's improved on the mic. He's improved in the ring, which, it's always hard to kind of see how much higher he can go. But man, some amazing things this year. So we might split the vote, but I got to go with Dante.
All right. We have two winners. That's okay. We'll just cut the award in half.
Yeah.
And that's
one gets the left leg, one gets the right leg.
Right. Well, one gets this guy over. Oh yeah, one gets this guy over here. One gets
that guy over there.
Guy over there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They can have it out. All right. Well, let's. How would do you see a difference as far as like a definition in like breakout star and most improved?
Yeah, absolutely. And because to me, most improve is about improvement. To me, I think that I would put Miro higher on the list on breakout star, even though he's kind of been established and has broken out in the past. To me, I don't think Rhea Ripley got the shake that she deserved on top. I don't think she was kept on top long enough to really like break out, which is really unfortunate because I think that she is so fucking talented, and especially for being so young. I think people forget that she's like in her early 20s, like maybe she's 25 now. I'm pretty sure that she's still like in her like early to mid 20s. Because she was one of the younger people in the tournament when they did the first Mae Young tournament, which is crazy to think. To me, this is where I would select Bianca Belair, because I felt like she was on the cusp last year, but man, this year was great. It was so good. I can't deny that, and I think this is where, to me, like I tried to pick people that we would have good discussions about, and not just obvious. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, you could choose any one of these people, like you said. This little triangle of breakout, improved, and rookie, and there's a lot of crossover within these three. Yeah, and Bianca's a great. I mean, you can't deny that she's had an incredible run in the division. Like I said, in a division that is so stacked with talent. Yeah, no doubt.
For me,
and I would say, go ahead.
No, you finish up.
I was gonna say the other thing is when I mentioned that is I could give the Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, and Breakout Star to Dante straight up, because I think that the other thing is I don't think everybody knew that Dante and Darius were amazing singles wrestlers, because they were always a tag team when they were in, until Darius got hurt, which still feels weird to say their shoot names. I know that they don't go by Airwolf and
it's weird not to say Airwolf and Dorado anymore.
Yeah. But to me, I think that that he kind of a lot like Jungle Boy, who had always kind of like been in tag team, kind of, at least in AEW, had been viewed as kind of a tag team wrestler or a stable wrestler. Man, I'd say both of those gentlemen had just amazing years as like stepping into the spotlight and shining like every time they went up against like a big name. Man, they are the opposite of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. They like play up to better opponents instead of losing to shitty ones.
Yeah,
costing us bowl games. Anyway, Minnesota sports.
I was gonna say you could say that about any one of our teams.
Oh yeah, absolutely
it's relevant. My breakout star is Jungle Boy, and I think you kind of made the case for me in that he was viewed as such a tag team guy and almost like the secondary to Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus was kind of. I mean, he's Jack Perry. Was he? My goodness, who was Jungle Boy's dad that just passed away?
Luke Perry.
Thank you. I get live and I get a brain fart. That's what happens.
Right. It's the immense pressure of having Big Logan in the audience.
That's what
we all fuck up sometime.
I can't show you, but I'm sweating and I actually had to take the pants off because
baby.
Too hot in here.
It's the Undies Awards, baby.
That's right. But yeah, Jungle Boy, broke out as he's a great tag wrestler. Him and Luchasaurus are phenomenal. But the singles matches were so much better than I even anticipated them being. and he's just got this incredible following. People love him. Obviously, as Tony Khan breaking out the theme song money helps.
Mm-hmm.
That helps a lot. But I mean, he's just become this incredible. They say the 4 pillars, and they mean it. And he's one of them. So he gets that breakout star award for being that guy. One of the guys that, I mean, we all knew who MJF was. I think a lot of us did anyway. He's thrived in his role. I think you could put Darby in this too, but I think Jungle Boy just takes the cake for me, so he gets it for me.
Yeah, I think Darby kind of had his moment last year, and I agree. Darby is Darby, and like, I don't know. To me, Darby is kind of like Raven, like softcore Raven.
Softcore Raven.
Yeah. He's good and I enjoy him, but I don't think that I have a hard time getting past he's the I like Totals kid grown up.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's a lot of gimmick.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, a lot of gimmick, a lot of risk taking, which Mick Foley is one of my favorites, but Mick Foley could also wrestle his fucking ass off. I see that sometimes in Darby Allin, but I don't think that they allow him. I don't think that he has spotlights for that outside of that CM Punk match, because that CM Punk match was fucking good. I mean, it was essentially Bret Hart versus the 1-2-3 Kid, almost move for move, but it was great because there's not a lot of people that can go like Waltman and Bret Hart together.
Right. And yeah, Darby's great. He's not one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, it's
not my flavor. I'm also not, a teen or, a giant, like,
you're not a golf.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
who would have guessed?
Yeah. It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Was he legit the Turtle Kid? No, but there's a great meme of those two standing right next to each other, making the same like blank face. And it's the meme of the year, wrestling meme of the year, every year for me. Yeah.
Every year. Do we really need to have an argument on Rookie of the Year, or is that Dante Martin?
I'm going to give it to Dante Martin. Hook hasn't been around long enough for me, although I'd say that next year Hook has a real good shot at that.
I was going to ask. I put him on there because I wanted to have that discussion, and I'm
excited. I'm excited. I loved Taz and ECW, and when they brought him in, and like that first time when the frickin' like smoke went and the heart monitor flatlined, I was like, oh, fuck him up, Taz, let's do this. I was so pumped. And then it was kind of like, a couple months in, and it was like, it was done.
Yeah. That's a WWE run in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Which
is so unfortunate.
Taz is always great. And, I think, again, giving credit where credit's due, this company has done such a great job of making a star and letting it organically grow and let the fans get behind it. And I don't know if this was done intentionally on CM Punk's part, but when he said send Hook and he made it such an emphasis on it, that became like the spark. That became the moment that all of a sudden this is a meme. This is funny. But now we're getting excited. Now we want Hook, and now we want to see Hook, and they kept us from it. They kept him out of the ring for so long. I mean, I'm assuming he was ready before he debuted, but they kept everybody kind of just like simmering on Hook.
And he busted out some suplexes, man, that were like, yes.
And
keep sending Hook.
The itself was just perfect. And the I can't call it a Titantron, but the entrance screens, it literally just said Hook in white. I mean, it was perfectly done.
That's it. We don't need any more.
No. And he just came out and he just whooped everybody's ass. He's only had 2 matches, so that's why I was like, well, I can't really legitimately call him a Rookie of the Year. And that's kind of the same thing with like Anthony Ogogo, who's on the list as well. Like he's been gone for 6 months, something like that, 7 months.
Yeah.
It really was between Dante and Jade, and both of them are deserving. Jade Cargill, super deserving. But Dante, I mean, maybe it's a little bit of hometown, heroics for me, and he's just such a talent. I mean, every time he goes to the ring, you see something you've never seen before, and that's my kind of wrestling. I like the flippy shit. That's my kind of style. So he's Rookie of the Year hands down in my book. So there we go. Congratulations, Dante. Another award you're happily put on your mantle.
So many undies.
Yep. It's all different shapes and colors.
Yep. And they're all from Nic Kodak. That's right. Nic Kodak. He buys underwear for men under 20.
And now
I thought that was the Undercard Wrestling Podcast theme. I'm sorry. Did I screw that up? that was your gimmick, man.
I need a disclaimer. Views and opinions from the Heel Turn Radio do not accurately reflect those of Undercard Wrestling Podcast. Wow. Well, all right.
Nailed it.
Did. Yeah, you nailed the final coffin in my show.
Yeah, we're pretty much done after this, gang.
That's
2021, we're both off the air.
You know, that's the epitome of how 2021 went. You think it was going good, and then just like that.
Yeah.
And
then
let's see here. Let's move into most charismatic, shall we?
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
That's fun. I had 4 nominees. Did you add or make any additions? Or
I would like to hear your nominees.
Okay. Nominees for most charismatic: MJF, CM Punk, Eddie Kingston, Biggie. The 4 pillars of charisma.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'll take that all day long.
I mean, I'm sure there are more that people could add to the list and be rightfully, considered. But those are the first 4 in order that came to my head when I was putting this list together.
Yeah. To me, I think that's an amazing list. I think that since I would give so many of these awards out to those 4 people. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that you get more charisma than these guys. I mean, I think that Becky Lynch is another great person in terms of charisma. Sure. I kind of got tired of them sticking heel Becky in our faces forever when people just wanted to cheer her.
Right.
I was kind of like, okay, who do you have as a face? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like,
yes.
You have Bianca Belair as a face, and you didn't really have anybody as a face.
That was
Sasha and Bayley weren't around, and right. Sasha was basically a heel at that point. Charlotte was a heel. It was kind of like, why are we doing heel on heel? It's like, whatever. But that said, I have a hard time arguing against Big E because Big E has always been big charisma to me. I love his energy in the same way that I get chills when Eddie cuts a promo or CM Punk cuts a promo. I get happy. I get happy when Big E is doing anything. Wrestling, he's just so filled with joy for wrestling to me, or entertaining. I won't even say wrestling because he's just so across the board, but really professional wrestling is, I love it. Good promo, good charisma, good in-ring skills. Obviously he has the resume to back it up. MJF, I just want to punch in the face. And I know that that's charisma too. I mean, by far, I don't know that I could pick a better heel of the year than MJF in terms of actual wrestling persona.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make a real case for Nick Khan, but that's just being dickhead of the year. But yeah, to me, I don't enjoy Happy Wise anybody more than Big E.
I actually was really hoping we were going to have separate takes on this, but we don't. Biggie is, and you covered a lot of it. MJF, and to me, charismatic is more than just a promo.
Yes,
and I think all four of these guys are the epitome of that.
Yeah.
We talked about Eddie Kingston. Everybody knows how good CM Punk is on the mic, and MJF has proven it over the last 3 years on a national stage.
Yeah.
But Big E gives you goosebumps.
Yeah.
Without even holding a microphone.
Yeah.
You know, when he does the entrance, the intercity here, you know,
Yeah.
it hasn't got, how many years has he been doing that? Years and years and years.
Yeah.
And it's not old. It doesn't get old.
No, it's,
you know, it's like
I get excited for it every time.
It's like the when The Rock would say, finally, The Rock has come back too. Like it just, even if you're not in that city, it's exciting to hear. And Biggie just exudes entertainment. He exudes enjoyment. He exudes energy.
Yeah.
And his wrestling, with his entrances, with his promos, like everything he does is, he can sit there and flex his pecs and you're like, oh, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
You know, to me, Biggie is the epitome of charisma. He's charisma personified.
Yeah.
Nobody deserves it more than that guy, and the run he's having with the title and everything. Just, I feel
it
so
makes
good
me
for him.
So happy for him.
He's like one of the few shining bright spots in Connecticut.
Yeah.
You know,
no doubt.
I'm very happy for him. So congratulations, Biggie. You have the WWE title, and now you have an undie.
Yeah.
Your life's complete. Your career is set.
Yeah.
That's it.
You can retire.
You're good. All right. Let's do best non-wrestler.
What's your take on this? Because I'm interested by your nominations.
I have three, and again, I try to look at other companies other than just the one that I really watch and enjoy. But Paul Heyman, who I think is on this list every single year, Don Callis for his work with AEW and Impact, and Pat McAfee, who I know he got into a couple of matches, but that wasn't his main role. You know, so I put him on there because he's done so much work, so much good work as a commentator. And I just thought his entertainment, his presence, the stuff he did on his podcast with Adam Cole when they were doing the NXT stuff, I really was impressed with how easily he transitioned into this world. So all three of these guys are incredibly talented non-wrestlers. But I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time going with anybody but good old Paul E. I just think nobody has done what he. I mean, you talk about the best non-wrestlers in wrestling history. It's like Bobby Heenan, Mean Gene Okerlund, and Paul Heyman. Like, you know,
I will make a case for one person, Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. Yeah, I thought Bad Bunny did kind of an amazing.
Bad Bunny did great. You got to give him a lot of credit. He looked really good in there. My
other nominee, and I always have a hard until Paul Heyman hangs it up or somebody strangles him. I think it's going to be really hard not to give it to
which could
Paul
be any
Heyman.
day now. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, but it could have been any day for the last 20 years. You know. I would also nominate Malcolm Bivens because I love the Diamond Mine. I loved him before he was Malcolm Bivens in Chikara and Evolve. Yeah, to me, Malcolm Bivens, like he is next in line to the throne for me. I can't separate my personal dislike of Pat McAfee or Don Callis to get on board, especially Pat McAfee. But yeah, Malcolm Bivens. I love all of the stuff he's been doing with Diamond Mine. They were just on the bump, and he was amazing.
I did not think of that, and I'm ashamed of myself for not putting him on that list. So I added him to the list for you.
He makes me so happy. Okay, hold on. I gotta share. I gotta share this. There we go. Boop boop. All right, let's see. Share screen. Boop. Let's go.
The anticipation.
There it is. Yeah, you know how we do it.
Oh,
Merry Christmas, home. Merry Christmas, home.
From Malcolm to you.
I thought there was more to that. That was great. There was nothing we needed.
No, that's it. I mean, he was just on the bump, which was amazing. But I also don't want to get a strike for showing too much of WWE because
that's right. They will
I'm
come
sure
down hard on you.
WWE will be, they're always pissy about something.
Kevin Dunn will show up at your door and
Kevin Dunn and Nick Khan, and they'll open up cans with their teeth.
I was going to say they'll eat your whole door frame, but
yeah, it's good. Yes, both.
Right. Malcolm Bivens, best non-wrestler, and is that who you chose, or is that just a nominee?
He's a nominee. I have a hard time voting against Paul Heyman. I think Paul Heyman has made people love or hate Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar as main eventers when people were so apathetic. Like yes. You can't say that doesn't have fucking Paul Heyman's fingerprints all over it. Like that entire tribal chief thing.
Well, it all started when Heyman didn't even have to say a word. And I remember I watched that episode live. For some reason I was watching. And at the very end, and I don't know, what did Reigns said something like, that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler. And my jaw just hit the ground, and it pans over, and there's Paul Heyman sitting right next to him, and it broke the internet. I mean, it was incredible. Like all of a sudden we're getting everything we've wanted for all these years, and it made Roman Reigns a superstar. And it made us dislike him as a heel in the right way. Mm-hmm. Where now we want to watch his matches. We're not, like you said before, apathetic to Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman did that. Paul Heyman created the tribal chief and all this other stuff and put himself in that position and put Roman in this position to be everything that we wanted Roman to be and the WWE wanted Roman to be. So I think Paul earns his money on that.
No doubt.
I'm sad he took a Superman punch to the face, although that was a little cathartic.
Yeah.
For all of us. Watching him get punched in the mouth is always enjoyable.
Yeah, it's a high point.
It's him and MJF, I think, are like the best heel. Like, who do we like watching on TV but also really enjoy watching them get punched in the face? Is those two.
It's a toss. Yeah, it's a toss-up.
All right. I'm going to pick one more here, and then I'll let you make a couple of selections.
All right.
Let's do another periphery and do best commentator.
Oh, man.
These are always fun for me. I always like the peripheral awards.
I do, too. And, I mean, you know me. Commentary to me, I think is... And I think all four of these... I was never a WCW guy. I did not like Shivani on commentary a whole lot, but I think that he's been great, and the combination with AEW with the different broadcast teams have been really great for him. I still think that he kind of falls into the JR, Michael Cole, Jim Ross conversation where it's kind of canned.
Sure.
And I feel like I'm not always getting a unique call from Tony Schiavone, like I am with some of the others. I mean, that said, Kevin Kelly is like my ready, steady dude. Like, to me, he is, I don't think that he gets the props that he deserves as being kind of the Jim Ross of the next generation of commentators. I could listen to Kevin Kelly call pretty much anything and always enjoy it. I think Ian Riccaboni has been amazing. I think that he stepped into those Kevin Kelly shoes in ROH, and I think that he makes those ROH shows entertaining, even when they maybe have less right to be for the experience of some of the wrestlers that they had, as the kind of exodus to AEW and everywhere else happened over the last 5 years. I have a hard time not giving the nod to Excalibur because I just love Excalibur. But I'm gonna, I'll pull a wild card. I'm almost positive that I have voted for him before, and I would give it to Kevin Kelly because of all the people on that list. If I had to count on someone to call a big time matchup that I knew I would enjoy the call, it would be Kevin Kelly.
Yeah, man, you've said everything.
I listened to it. I'll say this. I watched and listened to a lot of commentary from people when we were doing commentary because I wanted to be better. And to me, I think Kevin Kelly in all the practical ways, helped me to be a better commentator. For all of the fun ways and entertaining ways, I think Excalibur made me a better commentator.
That's well said, and I think that's something that you and I can kind of come together on here. You know, I've unfortunately Josh Callisto does not see me as a commentator anymore, and that breaks my heart.
Oh, who does he see as a commentator?
Bad Heart Bart. I guess that's his new pet toy. That's his new toy. That's okay. I enjoyed my 2-year run. But while doing the commentating gig, you hit the nail on the head. I watched wrestling and I focused so much more on commentary than I used to, because I want to get better and I want to learn from those that are getting paid a lot of money to do it. And, you know, for all of the faults, you know, JR is still one of the goats of commentary. Yeah. I think, you know, he's not as good as he once was, but who is? Yeah. You know,
I mean, that's the thing about old goats, you know,
unless your name is Tom Brady, you're probably not as good as you used to be.
Yeah. You know, I mean, and you know that Tom Brady is like supping from the like Illuminati pool of endless youth.
He's
There's no way.
He's just drinking unicorn blood and
and like straight from the source.
Straight from the source.
Yeah.
But yeah, Michael Cole, I think, is underrated. I think he's just been so pigeonholed as this annoying heel commentator, even when he's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
But his talent is undeniable, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shivani is somebody that I do enjoy because I never did watch WCW as a kid. So hearing all the clips, you know, you see all the highlights, or you go back and you watch YouTube clips, he's the voice that you hear, and to see it and watch it live is a lot of fun for me, and I enjoy him. Excalibur, I think you and we've had this conversation, I think the last 2 years when we did this.
Yeah, probably.
Where, you know, you have Excalibur he was PWG, right? He was like the main PWG commentator.
Yeah,
he brings a lot of that new school attitude, where Shivani and JR bring a lot of that old school mentality, which I love the mix, and they work very well together.
Yeah.
But man, Ian Riccaboni is great. Ian Riccaboni, I think he would benefit from a much bigger platform.
I do too.
But man, Kevin Kelly's grown, and this is the conversation I know we had the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Kevin Kelly, where he started from in WWE, you know, being called a hermaphrodite by The Rock.
Yeah.
You know, and having his shirt thrown over his face, like, you know, him and Michael Cole, and just being insanely disrespected in their roles, to being in my opinion, the GOAT commentary. I love JR, I love Shivani, I love a lot of these guys in their time right now in 2021. But Kevin Kelly, the way he tells a story without getting in the way of the match, I think is unmatched in wrestling right now.
He does an amazing job at like directing traffic.
Yeah. I really did like him and Don Callis when they were doing New Japan for a while.
Yeah.
I liked Don Callis as a commentator. I thought he was a great Bobby Heenan-esque commentator. I thought he did it with a lot of intelligence, and he brought out the best in Kevin Kelly and vice versa. But man, who is it? Chris Charlton? Who's the one? Kevin.
I enjoy him a lot too. He wrote a great
he's the
book.
One that translates, right?
Yeah.
They work great together. But I think it speaks a lot to Kevin Kelly's ability to work with whomever he's with, you know, because we saw JR and how terrible he was with Josh. Was it Barnett, the UFC guy? Was it Barnett or Bartlett or
Barnett?
Bad commentary, whoever he was, but and JR tried, and he tried so hard to pull anything he could, and it just didn't work.
Yeah,
Kevin Kelly, I think you could give him a wet mop, and it would be a really good event.
Yeah.
Kevin Kelly, best commentator, hands down in my book.
Yeah.
3 years running, 4 years running. I'm going back and just looking at who I had the last couple of years, and it's always Mauro Ranallo and Kevin Kelly. That's just like.
Oh yeah, Mauro Ranallo. That was a big loss. I loved him on commentary.
I miss Mauro in the wrestling scene. I loved his passion.
Yeah.
It did not bother me for whatever reason. I know it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, how excited he'd get over everything.
It's great. To me, like how are you not getting that excited? You know, like if you really love
NXT when you're calling takeovers and that, and how good these shows were. Yeah. But he's still doing UFC or boxing, right? I think he's doing boxing.
Yeah, I can't remember what he's doing now.
At least he's still doing it. Good for him.
Yeah.
But Kevin
Whatever
Kelly,
makes
there we
him
go.
happy.
All right, sir. I will let you pick the next couple of categories.
I feel like there's just categories that I just give awards in, and I always feel bad. I'll pick Best High Flyer because I'm just going to nominate Dante again. I enjoy Fenix's work. I also think that there's a couple amazing people that don't get the credit because I don't think that they got the shine that they deserve this year.
Sure.
I think there's tons of people that got let go by WWE. I think that were amazing. I think that Swerve is so much fun to watch. There's so many good people that are really fun to watch kind of in that space. But yeah, I don't know. I also don't think I have there's no one that I'm more consistently in awe of than Dante. And I have not watched a lot of Lucha. I confess to being a total Lucha noob most of the time. But I think that's a streaming service, by the way, Lucha Noob. But
is that R-rated?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, I can't argue with that choice. I'm giving it to Phoenix just because I just think he's been doing it for so long, so consistently. Tag team singles, high-end pay-per-views. I just love everything about Phoenix. Dante will probably take the mantle for me next year. I think this might as great as Phoenix is. Dante, I think, is going to be one of the best high-flying wrestlers. If he stays healthy, if he's given the chance, I think he has the potential to be one of, if not the best, high flyers. So I'm going to give it to Phoenix one more year while I still can.
Do it.
So there we go.
I feel like if we're doing that, we should just keep going on the tip of most this or best that.
Sure.
Best technical. I know that you put Daniel Garcia up there as well.
I did.
But I don't know that anybody, to me, Bryan Danielson will stay in that position now that he is back in AEW.
Yeah. I had to give him some competition, though. Yeah,
You
I
did.
had to give him another nominee somewhere, and I think Daniel Garcia fits that bill.
I would say that the other person that I would put in that category that you nominated, I think, for Male Superstar of the Year would be Jonathan Gresham.
Oh, yeah.
And when he basically called out the American Dragon on that last ROH show, I was like, yes, give him the Dragon. Dragon versus Octopus would be.
Yeah, that's got to be coming down the pipe at some point.
I hope so.
You got to think that with everything that they've done with I hate the term, but the forbidden door and allowing the cross promotional things to happen, you've got to believe that that's something that'll be coming down the pike sooner rather than later. But yep, Danielson, he's his true self in the ring as a wrestler, and it's everything we ever wanted to see in WWE and more. It's everything we hoped we'd get in AEW and more.
Yeah,
and it's one of the best returns in wrestling that we've gotten.
Yes,
I'm so happy that we get to sit and watch it in real time unfold. Because we'll be talking about it 20 years from now.
Yeah,
on the 2031 episode of the Undies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pick a couple more for me here.
Maybe kind of in that kind of vein, looking ahead. I know we sometimes save this for the end, but sometimes we just kind of throw it in the middle. So feel free to veto and have it be the last word. But who to watch in 2022?
Let's do that. Let's get in.
I love the idea of Hook. But I really want to see what happens with Ring of Honor.
So the nominees we had were Top Flight, Braun Breaker, Hook, and Ring of Honor, who I think are. But I think the most intriguing answer is Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
I mean, I think with the other three nominees, we want to watch them, but I think we're all pretty certain that the three nominees are going to be stars. Top Flight's going to be a star. Braun's going to be a star. Hook's going to be a star. The true unknown nature of Ring of Honor right now, I think, is the most intriguing thing about 2022 in wrestling. So
it's like, do they come back? Do they have the same structure? Does Sinclair hold on to them?
They have a show booked WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, for April. Yeah.
Yep. So they've got plans, and I think just the fact that we've never seen this happen before with a big company. Yeah. And all the wrestlers are not under contract. So there's nobody that you're like, oh, well, we know who's going to be there. I mean, we're pretty sure we know, but there's so much openness and uncertainty and intrigue that I think that for this year, Ring of Honor wins the Who to Watch in 2022.
Yeah. And I wonder about it because, to me, it feels a little like when Shikara did their big shutdown angle and they didn't run shows for 6 to 9 months, I want to say.
Oh wow.
And we didn't know whether it was an angle at the time, because we bought tickets to a Minneapolis show and it was canceled because they had the big bad organization, basically this guy who was jilted came and brought these guys and they literally wrecked a show. Near the end of a show, they basically ripped the ring apart and tore down all the signs and
really
were yelling at people to get out. Yeah, it was this big, huge, kind of thing. And then they did this Ashes of Chikara where people came back and they the good guys kind of recruited people to kind of do this thing. And so I to a certain extent it kind of smacks of
a dream doesn't happen overnight.
Of an interesting angle.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm not sure, kind of what comes of it. I think it would be great to see Jonathan Gresham have a more prominent role. I think it would be great to differentiate it by having that, kind of the honor code be, more of a forefronted thing again.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's what made Ring of Honor unique. And when people broke the code or wouldn't shake hands at the beginning of a match, you were like, oh, fuck that guy, people started people took it seriously, and so they took offense to it. And it was real easy to know who was a good guy and who was a bad guy. There was real clear, clean lines in a lot of spaces for wrestling where there isn't a whole lot of clear delineation. So to me, I'm really interested in what could come out of that. But
yeah, we'll see. April. Hopefully we'll get some clues as we move into that. And hopefully we see some of these wrestlers kind of pop up and other places. I mean, I'm sure we're going to get the Briscoes and FTR probably at Revolution is my guess. And them, I keep waiting for them to pop up on AEW TV, and I'm excited about that prospect. I did watch Final Battle, and that was a hell of a pay-per-view. That was so much fun. Seeing FTR show up and have that kind of that pull apart at the end. That was super cool. So Ring of Honor is going to be very
anything can happen, which is
that's the best thing about wrestling.
Great.
That's the best thing. And you have no idea where anybody's showing up.
Yeah.
Speaking of showing up, let's do who we were surprised by in our comeback wrestler of the year.
Oh, that's a good question.
This was the most robust this category I think has ever been. We've seen so many people come back that maybe we didn't think would come back or pop up. I think there's 4 strong nominees. Did you have anybody else you wanted to add, or?
I mean, I would say, Danielson falls in this category for me as well. To a certain extent, even though he's kind of been in the conversation, Brock Lesnar, I have not given a shit about for the last how many times he's come back. And I actually it's like, oh, maybe I want to watch that. I don't know that I do, but I kind of want to.
I don't dislike him on my TV as much as I used to.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting. And I rest because the 4 nominees I have are Edge, Punk, Christian Cage, and Sting. I know Sting officially made his comeback in 2020.
I think Edge did too.
But Edge too. But I think the matches that they've had.
Sure. The fact that they've sustained it and actually wrestled is pretty impressive.
Right. And the last match that Sting had last week was really good. They put him in a good role. And so if we're really talking about just comebacks, to me, it comes down to Punk and Christian Cage.
Yeah.
And just as great as Christian's comeback was from the physical, injury, man, just hearing Cult of Personality again, there's just nothing better in my mind.
I mean, I bought the pay-per-view. I mean, that's it, right? They did their job. I bought a pay-per-view. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's like I get so much great AEW that, unless I'm like super into it, I'm not going to buy a pay-per-view. But I bought the pay-per-view, So to me, you got people tuning in that don't normally tune in. Or don't always buy the pay-per-view, and they buy the pay-per-view. That's it. I mean, there's nothing that gave me a bigger like shot in the arm than CM Punk.
And the way they built that up too, without saying his name, without giving credence to the rumors, but yet you knew, but you didn't know. Because there's so many people online going, "Oh, he's not coming back. This is all just a ruse. He's not." They're going to play his music, and MJF's going to walk out, and that was the big rumor, was that MJF was going to troll everybody. And like, how great was it that CM Punk actually did that to him in Long Island and took that whole idea and reversed it and did it to MJF. It was great, but they built this whole return on a rumor, and they sold out the arena on a rumor, and they just built this whole thing around it. And then he came back, and to me, it hasn't been a big disappointment. It's been everything I've hoped it would be. They've eased him in, they gave him, they let him do the, like you said, the happy to be here kind of storyline for a bit. And now it's getting into the stuff we all wanted to see. I mean, I've been talking about for years since AEW became a thing that I wanted to see MJF and CM Punk, and we'd never know if we were going to see it. And now we're seeing it play out in real time, and there's nothing more entertaining than that. So, I've been waiting for this comeback for 7 years. So this is the easy winner for me. That was an easy one.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, let's jump up to Rivalry of the Year as we start getting into some of these meaty 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 9 big ones here.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of cheating because it's been more than a year, but the fact that AEW did the long burn on Hangman, and yes, there was some things with COVID that it had to go a little bit longer, but even having a year chase is so unheard of in the US for the most part. It's very much a kind of like Japanese style booking. And it's one of the things that King and I have talked a lot about, that we love so much about New Japan, is that you don't get that instant gratification. There is the kind of hero's journey to the title. And, there was a lot of heartbreak over the last year with losing Brody Lee and with the pandemic and last year with George Floyd. There's just so much. Me Too. I mean, so much compounding. But the fact that they hung with Hangman, I know that there's other nominees, and I want to discuss them. I think that they're very worthy. But to me, them coming out and giving Hangman the beer and him just throwing it and just going in for the hug, I was like, wrestling is so beautiful. Storytelling is the best. Oh God. I lost my bananas at that the same way I lost my bananas about CM Punk or, Dante Martin, pulling off crazy shit, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, Big E, Eddie Kingston. This to me, that has the same flavor. Hangman winning the title is one of the most joyful things. I mean, it was right up there with Big E winning for me.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where going into the pay-per-view, going into Full Gear, I'm pretty sure most of us had an idea. We knew this was happening tonight.
Yeah.
And yet it did not diminish the impact of the moment.
Yeah.
The moment was as big or not bigger.
Yeah.
Whether we knew it was coming or not, you know. And
the match wasn't even as good as their other big match.
No.
To me. No. But the moment was far and away one of the best AEW moments, best wrestling moments we've had.
And in a pay-per-view that had some really good moments in it,
Yeah.
That was a very good. Maybe I'm biased because I got to be there in person, and that kind of was my first, my first pay-per-view I've been to since Double or Nothing. So,
Yeah.
like, it was a big moment to be there and to be there for that moment.
Yeah.
I mean, the other nominees we had on the list, Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, still are having a great rivalry. But for me, it's been a little hot and cold when they're.
It's been really intermittent, which is unfortunate. And I know that that's because of travel and everything else,
right?
Which sucks because I love Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
I've really loved Thunder Rosa for a long time. I hope that she gets the opportunity to make a big run and have a title.
And I think she will, and that payoff is going to be huge as well, which is why I nominated it. But the intermittent, not being able to really sink our teeth into that rivalry, I think has hurt it a bit. But those two are such good storytellers, and Thunder Rosa's intensity just permeates the TV, and it's been fun. Bianca and Sasha, again, I think kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
when they're really going at each other, it's hard to find better rivalries because they are both so good.
Yeah.
But the one underrated one I had on here was the LA Knight Cameron Grimes rivalry from NXT.
Yeah.
Bringing back the $1 Million belt, bringing back $1 Million Man. LA Knight's awesome. Cameron Grimes really grew on me. I hated his gimmick at first. Absolutely hated it. And this rivalry put it to the point where I'm like, I like him. I see what they see in him. And this rivalry was very fun and very good and very enjoyable. So I got to give kudos to those two because that was absolutely brilliant.
The funny thing about this is I have the exact opposite take on this. I love Cameron Grimes. I loved him on the Indies. I was super psyched when he got hired. I was like, Cameron Grimes? Really? That's what we're going with? And we're going to rehash $1 Million, like all this other stuff. And I was like, and I don't like LA Knight. I did not like him previously. So I had a hard time like loving this feud, but because I didn't really like LA Knight in general, I was like Cameron Grimes all the way. So
you're straight to the moon is what you're saying. To the moon.
To the moon, baby. So
I think that's the same thing though, is I knew of his character before, and I don't remember his name in the Indies anymore. I know I should know it, but when he became Cameron Grimes, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't like it. It wasn't for me. But this storyline really brought me to the point where I like this guy. I like this character. Yeah. I enjoy it. And they really did a good job. I like the $1 Million Man. I like the $1 Million belt, because it still holds so much prestige from my childhood. Yeah. Eli Drake. Thank you, Big Log. Appreciate that.
Eli Drake is LA Knight.
Cameron Grimes is previous character. Lee. Yeah. What was Cameron Grimes' previous character?
Trevor Lee. Lee. He tagged with Andrew Everett in PWG. Okay. He was a tag team champion there. And also Cameron Grimes, continuing that North Carolina love, he was a Omega student. He was a Jeff and Matt Hardy student.
Look at that.
Yeah. So.
All right. But yeah, I mean, I think in the end of it, I don't think there was a 3-year payoff to Omega and Hangman.
Yeah.
Everything they did with the Dark Order, everything they did, with the storylines with the Elite. It was so rich. There was so much to it.
Yeah.
And the payoff was so organic. Again, you talk about creating a superstar. And I don't know if you and I have had this conversation. I know Tim and I have. When AEW started, out of that core group of the Elite, the Bucks, Omega, Cody, and Hangman was the one I liked the least. Now, not that I didn't like him. I just, in New Japan and Ring of Honor, he just kind of was just another guy. Just a guy that was there. Couldn't really get into his character, and it wasn't my favorite. But over the last 3 years, he's progressed into one of my absolute favorite wrestlers on the roster, a roster full of people I love. So that creating that organic babyface hero, is something Vince just wishes in his wildest dreams he could create. And they just let it happen. They let these guys be themselves, and they let the stories be told. They trusted the actors and the wrestlers. And this is what we got. We got an incredible rivalry with a very good match and one of the best payoffs that we've seen in a title match in a long time. So there we go.
Yeah. There's I'll say the kind of irony of that is I really liked Adam Page when he was in ROH, but he was put with Matt Taven and BJ Whitmer as like the decade. Is that right?
Okay, that sounds right.
I think that it was Matt Taven and BJ Whitmer. The decade. ROH. Oh no! I think it was Jimmy Jacobs. It might have been Jimmy Jacobs.
Oh,
it might have been all three of them. Jimmy Jacobs, Roddy Strong, and BJ Whitmer. And then Adam Page was like their young boy. And so whenever they came out, because like I'm not going to shit on Roddy. I love Roddy. I'm not going to shit on Jimmy Jacobs. I love Jimmy Jacobs. I literally BM Shitmer all over BJ. But then I met him when I went and saw Suzuki in Las Vegas. I like ran. He was like working the door, and like I know we've made eye contact when I have my like BM Shitmer sign at ROH. So I know he knows. I know you know, BJ Whitmer. But whenever Cage came out with Page came out with him, I used to like use my one "you're a bum," which I don't know if you know about my "you're a bum" clause, but every show I get one "you're a bum," and Adam Page, I always saved it for him, baby. So Adam Page, you're a bum. You're always gonna be a bum. You're not even a has-been. You never will be. You know, like I give him the big like the Rudy Tooty. You know, like
wow, you gave him the big what for?
Yeah, and so you know, not a bum. I mean, he hasn't been a bum for a long time. But yeah, I mean, he was one of those guys that had all that raw talent, and you're just like, when is this guy gonna like? Yeah. When is it gonna just like? When is he gonna be a star?
When is it gonna come together? And
yeah.
And I think we saw it, and it was fun watching it in storyline.
Oh yeah,
you know, then one of the clips that was floating around now, since we hit the 1-year anniversary of Brody Lee's passing, the backstage between those two, when he's like, "Yeah, I tried to sign up on your website, I put in my social security number and everything, and I just never heard back from anybody." You know, and then his that whole thing, Brody. I mean, we could spend an hour and a half talking just about Brody. You know. Every year Brody's going to should win something, because Brody was amazing. Let's do our face turn and heel turn of the year. I've been wanting to get into those. Let's do start with the face turn, because this one I think was a little less fun than the heel turn.
Yeah. I don't understand. To me, having Johnny Gargano be a heel is like having Leonard Literacy be a heel. You know, it's like you have somebody who loves wrestling so much, he calls himself Johnny Wrestling. Mm-hmm. And it's not that he's a bad heel. It's just that he to me can never flip that switch of that Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, and the fans didn't buy it.
No.
They didn't want to buy it. They didn't want to get behind him as a heel. And I kind of feared that with Danielson, but Danielson was masterful with what he did. I think he had a different way to go about it than they did. I mean, the way, you can say what you want about that, what they did with that, and whatever. But the big log oof.
I don't know what he oofed. He oofed though.
Don't oof.
What's the oof, Log?
What's the oof? I want a T-shirt. I want a heel turn T-shirt. That's what's the oof.
What's the oof?
So I mean, I think Johnny Gargano are the. So I'll back up. The 4 nominees for the face turn were Inner Circle, Johnny, Brock Lesnar, and Hit Row.
I thought Hit Row was gold. I thought that was like a license to print money.
They were heel in NXT, and then they got so over. And they got such a reaction on the main roster. Oh,
hey, Big Lug, I'm sorry. If his gimmick is literacy, it's literally reading. Why do you want to try to make also like
you're not gonna make LeVar Burton a heel, are you?
I'm just saying, like Leonard's not built to be mean. That dude has like not a mean ounce in his body. That'd be like Big Lug. That'd be like you being a heel. I just like I don't believe it, because like you're such a genuinely nice person. You know, anyway. That's my Johnny Gargano reasoning.
What's the oof?
Yeah, what's the oof? Maybe he's also oofing along with us. I don't know. Maybe he thinks Leonard Lewis is a good heel. I don't know. But So I love seeing Johnny Gargano being a good guy again. But I mean, Hit Row was so organic and it was so good. You know,
they get the award from me just because of how organic they got over.
Yeah,
and it was one of the more shocking releases just because of all just brought them up to the main roster. They were getting a reaction on the main roster. Like, it seemed to be everything that WWE would want from their these are organically made. I know they had, you know, some names made outside of WWE, but they really became the thing with Hit Row under the WWE banner. So they seemed to be everything that they would want coming together. So we created this group. This group got over. They're hit, you know, no pun intended. You know, and it was like, wow, these guys really became a thing very quickly, and they're awesome. So they get my face turn. There weren't a lot of great face turns, I don't think, this year, at least that I remember. But
I personally dislike Sammy Guevara and Jericho, and Jack Swagger. So the Inner Circle has never done anything for me, like literally.
That's fair.
It's never been like, oh, I'm so excited about this. Like,
yeah,
I was on Team MJF for that one. I was like, I love MJF. Let's do this.
I figured that would be our overall consensus on Inner Circle, and that held true to form. So, and it really was weird to put Brock Lesnar on that list.
But it was enjoyable.
I almost picked him just for that, for that
Yeah.
reason. But Hit Row, I still don't like Brock. I still don't like Bork Laser.
Yeah.
I don't care if he wears overalls and a man bun. It does nothing.
Yeah. And to me, it's not about being a face. Like, to me, it's the same thing with Inner Circle. It's not about being faces or heel. It's whether, like, I like them or I enjoy seeing them as face or heel. It's just kind of like, I just don't, they don't do anything for me right now.
It's more apathetic than it is like or dislike. Yeah. Which is the worst kind of feeling.
Yeah.
All right, let's do heel turn, because your namesake.
So shit. Brian Danielson can turn it on or off. I think it was a good heel turn, but I don't think it was the best heel turn of the year. Cody Rhodes has been slow burning it and just milking it for all of its worth, which I kind of love, but I also, what's that?
I think it's been great. I think it's just because I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I think it's calculated.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, then I take it all back.
Yeah.
But if this is going the way I think it's going, then I think it's brilliant. Because
he's basically setting himself up to be like Cena H,
Yeah. And if he's doing it on purpose to kind of be that guy that gets that heat, then that's brilliant. But
that said, I'll give it to Reigns. Man, we've all wanted it for so long, and I wasn't sure. It always felt like he was able to do it. But I've seen Bryan Danielson do it before. I've seen Cody Rhodes do it before. I've seen Becky Lynch do it before. To me, we've never gotten to really enjoy a heel turn by a major babyface in WWE, not for 10 years.
Right.
And this was it. And it was lovely. It was great.
It was done incredibly well. And it was everything we wanted the John Cena heel turn to be.
Yeah.
Because again, like you said, I think we all saw kind of Roman as the new version of John. What Vince saw as the guy that, hey, he's going to be my babyface go-to for the next decade. And we all kind of like had to sigh and, kind of deal with it. It's going to be what it's going to be. And we're just going to have to suck it up and hate it. And for them to flip the switch like that, because when he does go babyface at some point, it's going to work.
Yeah.
And he's going to get the reactions that Vince wanted 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So to actually flip it and go heel and go full heel, give him Paul Heyman. We always said he needs a mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm.
No better mouthpiece in wrestling. And they did all of that. And, and Heyman was kind of getting over a little bit. So they booted and got even more heat, by punching Heyman in the face. So
it was great.
Best heel turn I've seen in a long time. So, congratulations, Roman. Heel turn Undies Award of the year thing. So good job. Great job being a heel.
Great job. Super duper.
Let's do tag team of the year. And as we start to get into these last six biggies.
Yeah.
Man. I have 5 nominees. There's a few more nominees in these last few here.
Yeah. I mean, walk me through your nominees. I'm a tag team lover, so I have a hard time.
I'm interested. And I'm assuming you kind of wrestled with this, pun completely intended. Tag team of the year nominees: FTR, Young Bucks, Lucha Bros, New Day, and one of my personal favorites, underrated in all aspects, Gorillas of Destiny.
Yeah.
Feel free to add any if you.
I really love. I I really love the Gorillas of Destiny. I think that they, in the last couple of years, have kind of been really up and down depending on kind of how the I don't know, the fortunes of New Japan have gone, like how that's been booked. But yeah, I don't know. This is it's a hard year for this in my mind. I also would nominate, they're super stupid odd couple pairing, but they've been entertaining. RK Bro has been great.
Yes, RK Bro. I actually almost added them in, and I think I should have. RK Bro is definitely one. I did think about putting Jurassic Express in there. This has been a rise of tag team wrestling that has been really fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, even Darby and Sting have been incredibly enjoyable as a tag team. The Acclaimed I've really enjoyed as a tag team, as an up and coming tag team. So the list could be 8 pages long, I think. So I tried to narrow it down a bit. But yeah, RK Bro, I think they deserve to be on here. I'm going to add them as the list of nominees. They may not win, but I'm putting them up there.
Yeah, and I don't think that I would want them as the tag team champions per se, but as whatever, as the tag team of the year, because I also hate when they just throw tag teams together. It's like one of my least favorite. It's one of my least favorite things in general
in wrestling.
Yeah,
I think to me it's only really worked this time. I think it worked. I think the crowd really bought into it because of the odd couple difference that you were talking about with Orton and Riddle. I think the only other time I've really seen it works like the way it's supposed to is Sheamus and Cesaro, the Bar.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think because they became one of the most over tag teams in WWE, you're talking about you had the Hardys at the time, and you had Enzo and Cass at the time, and or at least along the same lines. And boy, did they were just so good. So I think RK Bro works. I think the other nominees I think are better, but I think they deserve the recognition as like, man, these guys really worked well together, and they weren't very quickly became just two guys thrown together to becoming something that was interesting to watch. And I enjoyed having, them on my TV screen every week.
Yeah. I really enjoyed MSK, Wesley and Nash Carter.
Yep.
I think it's been great to see the Rascals, make a good name for themselves in NXT. I'm trying to think of who all held the SmackDown tag belts this year. I mean, the Usos had them for
and
a while.
the New Day, I think.
And it's just been kind of going back and forth. I mean, the Usos had them. The Mysterios had them.
Oh, sure.
I don't really love the Mysterios, but I mean, Ziggler and Robert Roode had them for a while. I'm glad that both of those guys had something to do, but I don't think that there was anything too amazing about their reigns per se. I don't know. I think it'd be hard to overlook Pretty Deadly from NXT UK.
Oh,
Lewis Howley and Sam Stroker. And then I was totally surprised that Mustache Mountain came back and won them like recently. I didn't even know that they were still wrestling for WWE.
I guess that just goes to show that how little I pay attention to NXT UK because I love Mustache Mountain.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So, but yeah, they just won them on the 9th of December.
Good for them.
So, yeah. But I mean,
maybe I'll have to go back and try to watch
Pretty
that.
Deadly had them basically all year. And I know that it wasn't as big of a year because of travel and stuff like that. But I mean, the UK territory is a good enough territory for me I would watch that alone,
without a lot of people coming in. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they had it for like almost 300 days, which is, that's not too shabby. I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of good tag team wrestling this year. I was real happy with it. I'm glad to see FTR, and I'm glad to see. Oh, I don't know, gosh, the Bucks and the New Day, but also like the Dark Order. I love seeing I love seeing
Vice?
Silver anywhere, but
Yeah.
give me Johnny Hungy all day long.
How about the return of Roppongi Vice?
Oh, dude,
That
I'm
was
all
cool.
about that. And the best friends. I mean, having Wheeler
Yes.
Utah in there
Yep.
as well. Like, man, so many good. I mean, it's terrible that Trent had to be out that long, but yeah, Roppongi Vice coming back. That was a
moment.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I
gotta
don't know
pick
that
one.
I have a vote for this one. I there was so much good stuff this year. Lucha Bros and the Bucks at Full Gear was like another level good. I mean, I'd probably say Lucha Bros.
There you go. We finally got you to make a decision. I know this is hard. We're getting into the tough ones now.
Yeah.
I think we're getting.
Oh no!
into these last
Honestly, this is the toughest one for me. I could probably of the ones we have left, I could probably go like.
That's fair.
So
you are a tag
I'll
team
shut
guy,
up.
so
I'll shut up on the talkies on the next one.
nope. I think that, but this is why I save these for the end, because I know you're a meaty guy when it comes to tag team wrestling. So that's interesting. Yeah. This was the year of tag team wrestling. I mean, there was so much good stuff.
Yeah.
But
and this isn't even touching on like all the tag stuff in Noah and DDT and New Japan and yeah.
There's so much out there.
But
to me, considering my style, my preference, the Lucha Bros have. I mean, all these nominees can have good matches with anybody.
Yeah.
Lucha Bros and FTR were amazing. FTR and Young Bucks are amazing. FTR and Lucha Bros were amazing. The New Day with whoever they go against is amazing. But the Lucha Bros are just on another level. They're just so good. FTR to me is right behind them. It's like 1A, 1B. And really the only for me that I saw heel turn is Clark, not like joke, but oh great. That's the Lucha Bros. Lucha Bros for me, and literally the tiebreaker was because that's my style.
Yeah,
I love FTR. I love that they've brought back like the tag ropes, and they made the jokes about these Lucha Bros and Young Bucks not using them, and pure tag team wrestlers, and putting them with Tully Blanchard was genius. Yeah, and the stuff we're gonna get to see with the Briscoes. We don't have the Briscoes on the list. Those on the list. They're 12-time ROH tag team champions. So, but to me, Lucha Bros, they're on such another level. Yeah. That it's just it's gonna be fun. 2022. I can't talk. I'm running out of my word count here.
Let's do it then. Let's just go. Let's go.
2022 is gonna be great.
Hot hits.
All right.
What's next?
Let's go. Shocking moment. And I've got 5 nominees. And then depending on whether or not you add any nomination to your
nope. I have one for this one. So you can read the nominees and I will tell you.
As far as shocking moments. And again, this was another really good year where I didn't really have to think or dig too hard. Yeah. Because there were so many moments I was like, wow, this is not expected. Yeah. The debut of CM Punk obviously being at the top of the list. The debut of both Danielson and Cole at All Out was absolutely incredible. Like we expected Danielson, and then when Cole debuted, it was like, oh, I guess we're getting Adam Cole. That's cool. We'll get Danielson later. And then to get Danielson right after that was just kind of that 1-2 moment. It was incredible. Paul Heyman aligning with Roman Reigns. Didn't see that coming in a million years. Absolutely amazing. Ring of Honor shutting down was shocking to me. Sorry, out of frame. There, go back. Was really, I didn't have any clue. And I listened to Jay Lethal on Jericho's podcast last week. And Lethal did a really good job of kind of talking about how that came up and the reaction of everybody in the locker room and all that kind of stuff. That was a really interesting listen. And then, of course, Minoru Suzuki appearing in AEW. I mean, like, that was mind-blowing and incredible. I know there are others that we could add in there, but boy, those 5 are just, to me, out of this world.
Yeah. Danielson and Cole to get like both in one night was like unbelievable. That was unbelievable Because it was like, oh yeah, exactly what you said. You know, like, oh, we're getting Cole, so I guess we won't get Danielson. You know,
'Cause we were all expecting Danielson. We all,
Yeah.
especially with the way they were doing everything in the ring at the end. We thought you're gonna, you always get you got the heels cutting a promo, you get the face to come out.
It was great,
and then you get Cole, and he got the face pop, and then he turned and joined them, and then that was awesome. Was this? So is that your winner?
That's it. That's my winner. I loved all the rest of them. Honestly, I thought they were all great. There were more shocking moments this year in wrestling than I think any year in recent memory. But getting Danielson and Cole in one night was just like that's stabbing in the back and twisting. You know.
Yep, that one wins it for me. And debut of Punk would have gotten it, but I think it was one of those, we know it's happening.
Yeah,
we think it's happening,
and it exceeded my expectations. Like I had the tingles and everything.
Yeah,
but
and they did such a great job that even though we knew it but didn't know it, it still made its mark. But when it comes to actual shock value, I think to me it was between those two. It was between Cole and Danielson's debut and Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, as far as just
that was a great moment.
Value. So those two was up in the air. But the Danielson and Cole, I remember I was watching it. You know, I bought the pay-per-view. Yep. And it was so enjoyable after everything we saw. You know, we got CM Punk's return match. You know, there were so many great, moments in that pay-per-view, and to get that at the very end to leave us wanting more was absolutely incredible. So, that's it. All right, we got 4 more. Let's just jump over one, and let's do event of the year before we get to the final 3.
Ooh,
so I have 5 nominees, and again, like I said, feel free to add or subtract.
Big Log. That's a shocking moment. Chicago got the ice cream bars finally.
Yes, great job, Big Log. Sure. Yep, 100%.
that is the like big face moment of the year for sure.
That's the payoff. That's the payoff right there. Man, I wish I was in Chicago. All right, so my event of the year is between the nominees are All Out, Wrestle Kingdom, which is always up there. WrestleMania, which is always up there, Final Battle, and Full Gear. I think that's a hell of a list.
I don't know how. I don't really know how to vote against well, I don't know.
It's not easy.
It's tough. It's really tough.
This is why we get paid the big buck.
Yeah. I think it's probably All Out.
Okay.
Honestly, the 10-man was great. Miro versus Eddie Kingston was everything I wanted it to be. Kojima and Moxley was a banger.
Oh, that was great.
Britt Baker and Chris Statlander. I wish they would have given him a couple more minutes, but I loved it. Lucha Bros versus Bucks was insane. Ruby Soho coming in, debuting, eliminating Thunder Rosa, who made it all the way to the end, was great. The two. I don't think we needed Paul White and QT Marshall, and I was super disappointed by Jericho defeating MJF.
Yes, agreed. Same.
But Punk and Darby Allin was great. I mean, it was Brett and Waltman. It was great.
Move for move almost.
I thought the Kenny Omega Christian Cage match was fantastic.
It was good. Well, that was better than I actually expected it to be.
Yeah.
So All Out for the beard. And any other year, I think All Out would have gotten my vote, but I'm biased because I got to be there in person. Yeah. And I got to enjoy my first pay-per-view in Minnesota, my first ever wrestling pay-per-view. It was Full Gear, and it was I went to Rampage the night before with some great people. Went to Full Gear with Chris Huffman and Kara, and he has a great company, great show, great atmosphere. That was, to me, by far if we're just talking about flat out wrestling, watching wrestling, All Out, I think takes the cake. Even though Full Gear had a great card, Final Battle was insane. I loved Final Battle. WrestleMania and Wrestle Kingdom are always good. Unless you're hanging Big Boss Man from a cage, then that's a little different. But other than that, they're usually very good. But Full Gear, just being there in the atmosphere and everything. Big Log, I agree with you. Full Gear.
Amazing.
Full Gear. So there we go. Event of the year. We have 3 awards left. Is there one that you would like to go to?
No, you're calling it, buddy. It's your show. I'm just here.
You're just steering the boat.
I know. I'm just.
Are you driving the boat?
I am sailing the car.
There we go. Let's do match of the year.
All right.
1, 2, 3. I had 6. This is the most. These are the most nominees I had, and man, this was hard to narrow down. This was the best year for wrestling. I'm going back and I'm looking at 2018 had 4 nominees in 2019. I think the same in last year. This year it's 6.
And I personally love a number of these. I thought Bucks Lucha Bros at All Out was unbelievable. I thought Danielson Suzuki on Rampage was unbelievable. I thought Danielson and Hangman, like, that's a lot of wrestling, and it was gorgeous.
Did it feel like an hour to you? Because most of the time matches that drag on that long, I start to wear out after 30, 35 minutes.
No, I was in it. Yeah, so I think that's all that. And then Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks was unbelievable. Yep. I thought it was. I don't know that it's the best match that Bianca Belair has had, but it was probably my favorite match that she's had, and it's hard to argue with the Volta versus Dragunov.
That just made the cut. So I'll read off my 6 nominees. That one was number 7 when I had this written out for sure. I went back and I watched it again to make sure, but oh man, that was good. Bucks and Lucha Bros at All Out. Will Ospreay and Takagi at Wrestle Kingdom. Still holds water almost a year, and it's so hard with Wrestle Kingdom matches.
Because we're gonna watch it in a week.
Exactly. We're gonna watch it in a week. Maybe we should change the timeline. And they're gonna be good. But Ospreay and Takagi was amazing. Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan from SmackDown.
It was amazing.
Great. So Bryan Danielson has 3 of the 6. He's at 50% of the match of the years. 1 Daniel Bryan, 2 Bryan Danielson. Obviously, Danielson Suzuki, Danielson Hangman, and then Bianca and Sasha. For me, Beard, it comes down to Danielson and Hangman and Bucks and Lucha Bros. Those are kind of the 2 I've been going back.
I would agree. I'll give it to Hangman and Danielson. To me, that's my style of wrestling. That's what I could watch an entire pay-per-view of that.
Sure. I actually am going the other way. I'm giving it to Bucks and Lucha Bros because exactly what you said. It's my style.
It's your flavor, baby.
My flavor. It's my Rocky Road.
Yeah.
They're my Rocky Road.
It's your pistachio.
But again, Danielson and Hangman, which traditionally is like, and the same thing with Walter and Dragunov, not my particular preferred style, but so good that it kept me entertained. That's when you know it's good.
It was amazing.
When wrestling is great. Because the big bruiser wrestling is not my preferred style, but Walter is so good at what he does. That it's like you can't not be drawn in and just taken aback and left speechless like I am apparently when you watch him. And was it him and who was it? Was it that match where he just slapped the soul out of him that's been going around, or was that an older one of him and Ospreay?
I can't remember, but I would not be surprised.
That's good.
Romero driving. That's Rocky Road.
That's Rocky Road. That's good. Yeah. There we go. All right, we're down to our final 2.
Yeah, baby.
Our final 2, female superstar and male superstar. I think these are going to be very interesting. Female superstar, we have Bianca Belair, Britt Baker, Jordynne Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, and Thunder Rosa.
Yeah. And male, we have Kenny Omega, Roman Reigns, Shingo, and Jonathan Gresham.
A lot of talent in those 2 nominees lists.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough, man.
I've been thinking about this since I set this up, and I sent this to you last week. Last week. So I've had this up for over 2 weeks, and I still have a hard time making any decisions, especially on these last few.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, Big Log weighs in with Baker. I usually don't do this, but I think I'm going to pick one person that from a promotion I don't watch a ton of, but I will tune in for, and someone who's not on the list for male superstar.
For male superstar, I'm all about it.
I'm going to give it to Deonna Purrazzo, because I feel like she's someone who I just think people just miss the boat on.
Oh, agreed.
Absolutely
agreed.
For the year that she had this year, how could you imagine that anybody else has ever had the opportunity to put a spotlight on her? I can't, I don't know. Yeah. It's very tempting to give it to Jonathan Gresham and Jordan Grace, because you want wrestling's first couple. It's not Adam Cole and Britt Baker. It's not Andrade and Charlotte Flair. It's fucking Jonathan Gresham and Jordan Grace.
Yep. Jordan actually wins my award for female superstar of the year. Everything she's done to put a spotlight back on Impact before Deonna got there, and to stay as relevant as she had when Deonna was there. Yeah, she's so talented, and she's only getting better. I've seen her at First Wrestling a few times. Yeah, and nothing against. Britt Baker could win this award 9 times out of 10. Thunder Rosa, we know how talented she is. Bianca's obviously to the moon, but Jordan Grace has done so much with a lot less of a spotlight. Yeah. Jordan Grace gets my female superstar of the year award. Deonna gets yours, and now I'm excited. I'm on pins and needles to see who you have.
To me, it's actually between two people that aren't on this list.
I tell you what, I'm going to put them both on the list, and then we'll talk about it. So give me those.
It's Biggie and Eddie Kingston. And I say that because I look at all of the matches that both of them have had this year. And I actually don't think it's the year of tag team wrestling. I think it's the year of stables. I think it's the year of factions. We haven't had a faction renaissance like this since the fucking 80s. I know that you had the stable of the year, but think about, all of the stables that aren't on that list, how many there were. And that's just that's amazing to me. That's beautiful. Yeah. Because that's also my jam.
I love stables. I'm a major faction. And so we didn't get to this. So let's jump down there real quick since we have a few minutes here. Okay. Stable of the year, we had New Day, Bloodline, Dark Order, and the Foundation. Those are the ones that I kind of,
if we're talking faction, baby, there's nothing that I love more than the Dark Order. So I would give it to the Dark Order, even though Order
had my vote for sure.
Well, even though I think that I'm getting kisses. Sorry. Even though I don't know that it's the most successful of the year, but to me they were part of the biggest storyline of the year in AEW without taking any shine away from Hangman.
Yeah, and they were all entertaining in their own right. Yeah. Brody was obviously, he was
great.
Blue originally, but then you had, Alex Reynolds and John Silver being as entertaining as anybody could possibly be. Preston
Vance.
There it is. Being just intimidating and improving, and he could have been on one of the most improved wrestlers.
Yes. Same thing with
Angels being entertaining.
Yep.
Anna Jay being incredibly. Awesome. You just keep going, and every time they how do you forget about Boom Boom? Yeah. But the angles they had with Best Friends, and the angles they've had with the Elite, and the angles they're having with Adam Cole now on BTE, everything they do is entertaining, and like you said, without taking shine away from.
Yeah, they enhance everything that they're a part of, in my opinion.
Yeah. If you're talking about enhancement talent in the best possible way.
Yes, Big Log.
We're all members of the Dark Order. Yeah. All right, so let's jump back up. Male Superstar of the Year. Go ahead and continue your train of thought.
I just, I look at all the matches that Eddie Kingston had this year, both in a tag with Moxley before Moxley went to rehab, and then all the stuff that he's had afterwards as singles, and Eddie Kingston's also one of those guys that never needs to have a title on him for him to feel like a main event threat. Right. And I felt like I felt like for a long time, even though they kind of clowned Big E, he was always someone you could put in the main event and you're like, oh, yeah, that's a big dude. God damn it, Big Logan. I mean, he's not wrong.
No.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong at all. It's brilliant.
But for me, yeah, it's tough for me not to vote for Big E after the year that he had, because he just makes me so happy. I mean, like I said, Jonathan Gresham and Jordan Grace together are like, if I had to vote for something like that, a combo of two, that would be it. But I think I got to give it to Big E. I love Big E so much.
That's a great addition, and I would agree with you, but I feel like that would be taking the easy way out.
Yeah.
I think he absolutely deserves every.
So you're going with Chris Jericho?
Jake Hager, ladies and gentlemen, superstar of the year. When I looked at this, and I looked at this a little bit more mainstream, it was really between Kenny and Roman for me, as far as like true superstar of the year who carried their companies.
Yeah.
I know Moxley did a great job of carrying AEW through the pandemic with no fans. And Kenny's one of they're both. Kenny and Roman are so polarizing when it comes to people's opinions on who they are. We know people who love both of them, and most of the people who love one hate the other. It's really interesting. People who love Roman hate Kenny Omega. People who love Kenny Omega hate Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was never a bad wrestler. He just got John Cena treatment and instantly became hated. Yeah. And when they turned him heel, he was allowed to just become this incredible wrestler who could carry the company. Yeah. And I think that he's so much chicken shit, he was the chicken salad. Yeah. Yeah. And Kenny is just, man, he's so talented.
The best bout machine.
Best bout machine. Personally, I love Kenny Omega over almost anybody in pro wrestling. Yeah. I've been pretty adamant about that for years. Yeah. But I'm so impressed with what Roman's done. Yeah. And I really think that I would be doing it a disservice to myself if I just didn't give credit where credit's due. So Roman Reigns, this may be the only time this ever happens, but you get my male superstar of the year award.
Hey,
I just think he finally got to be who he should have been a long time ago. And
absolutely.
He's had some great matches. He's getting better on the microphone.
It's hard to say like all of these things that feel like kind of developmental things about the biggest star in the company, but it's like an athlete that is like running with a backpack full of weights, or a horse with blinders on. It's like you gotta let run, man.
It's like putting Delvin Cook in cement shoes. He's got the talent there, but he's being kind of hamstrung, and I think that was the case. And but man, big. I mean, so our male superstars so both of our female superstars went to Impact. Both of our male superstars of the year went to WWE. I would not have guessed that going into the show.
I wouldn't either.
Man, anything can happen.
Yeah, anything.
Pro wrestling, baby.
Yeah. So man, this was a lot of fun. Once again,
13 minutes until Tiny Ming Tuesday.
Yeah,
we're hitting that stride.
Yeah, we're hitting our times. So you should follow Nic Kodak and the Undercard Pod on all the social medias.
We're breaking out the new logo too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll see if I can real quickly. Yeah. If I can add it to the back of the screen.
Oh yeah.
I'll try to do this super quick, but I don't know what I'm doing.
All right.
I don't know what I'm doing. I may have to just post it on social media. I'm not sure. I can't edit name, remove from stream. Oh, wait. Oh, there it is. Okay. There it is. I got it.
Oh, nice.
Is it popping up?
Yep.
You can kind of see it. It's my computer decided it's
go.
My computer's it's time to go.
Well, then with that,
there we go.
We'll sign off. You should go and follow the Undercard Pod at the Undercard Pod on Twitter. and wherever your Nic Kodak cameras are sold. I'm the
Are you
beard.
not- Am I gone? I'm still here.
What?
I swear.
You're still there.
Okay.
You're still there.
I'm just getting the spinny wheel of death. So
Oh no.
no,
So,
this was
anyway,
fun. Thank you
From all
for
of us, all of you. Happy 2022. Hopefully, we'll bring back some wrestling to our lives.
Yeah, and maybe there will be an eventual return to the mud pit for the undercard and heel turn.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm
You're
always
at the
down
top of the list, my friend.
I'm always down to put on the boots and step into the mud pit.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. All right. The doggos are mewling for me, so I'm going to let you go. For everybody else, hang around starting at 8 p.m. Tiny Ming Tuesdays. He's Nic Kodak. I'm the beard. So for your King Ginger and all the other Heel Turn Radio folks, a happy 2021, and may 2022 bring you happiness and headlocks. Bye-bye.